All right. Are we good? Live?
Is the
It says
stream live?
it says action. Oh, we're here. I'm fixing my hair.
The
You
hair
guys,
looks good. The hair looks great.
thank you. Okay, I'm gonna start it off. Are you ready? I'm gonna start it
I
off.
Yeah, let's do it.
You hear that? Weekend at Chewy's stream. Today, Adam Cagley is reacting to video. On the stream today, me, Ari Stidham, as Emo Luke. Emo Luke. As always, as Chewbacca, Adam Cagley. Nitha
Sorry,
Nizam.
I was just vibing and feeling myself.
Nitha Nizam will perhaps be in the comments. Maybe she'll come in and say hello the first time. I think you can hear me over the music. First time I'm music.
I mean, this could be the stream. I'm fine with that.
Just doing this.
Maybe this song.
Just
Yeah.
vibing. Well, it's definitely going to get clipped out. That's for sure. All
We
right.
should just start like a weekly jam and vibe stream.
Yeah. Well, I just put a bunch of new songs on here, instrumental songs.
Nice.
So, welcome to Weekend at Chewy's.
Welcome.
How you doing, Adam?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm great. So, I have some talking points that I want to start with.
Let's do it.
So, the first thing is the name of this stream. I don't know if you can see it on your computer, but the name of this stream is Will Bo Katan Break Bad? Now, we've seen her set up to potentially live out like a fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Of writing what are the monitars?
Mythosaur.
Minosaur, thank you.
Mythosaur. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like full on Malfoy over here.
A little bit.
So I'm wondering if when that happens, she's like, now because I wrote the Mythosaur, Darksaber, and so she attacks. And then this is my theory of what's going to happen. That could turn ugly very quickly.
I mean, even then, there's a. Oh, go ahead.
But them against, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way for Din Djarin to win. I think with the Force, and use the Darksaber to defeat Bo-Katan, and then young Grogu, well, 60-year-old Grogu at this point, would be the ruler of the Mandalorian people.
That's kind of the theory I've been subscribing to too. Is that at some point Grogu will wield the Darksaber, and that he'll be the one to ride the Mythosaur. I think Bo-Katan's like keeping it tight under her hat because she's definitely planning something with it. Like I think at some point she's gonna pop up and be like, "I'm riding it, motherfucker!" But I think I don't think it's I don't think it's Din that she's gonna have to fight for the Darksaber. I think it'll be Grogu.
Agreed.
And like all of the putting on like, we gotta train Grogu and make sure he can do Kermit the Frog flips and shit like that. I think at some point they're gonna end up having to fight each other, and I think it's gonna end, like I think the titular Mandalorian isn't Din Djarin. I think it's Grogu.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. There's Nitha's got a friend named Craig who I was talking to who she works with, and he said that he thinks the Mandalorian is what if Yoda was Bo.
Yeah, I think that's more or less what they're building towards.
Yeah, it seems cool. I'm really into it. Something I have nothing negative to say, but like the past 2 episodes, I've just been fucking enthralled.
Dude, this season has been my favorite season so far. Like hands
So
down.
good. Well, season 3s are usually deliver.
Yeah.
Because you know so much about what's been going on.
Yeah.
That sort of takes me to the first video I want to get your take on.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
I'm just complaining to no end about how like nothing's going on this season. Like, yeah, there is. You're just not paying attention.
all right, can you see this?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know where this is going. I've heard about this.
A crazy rumor is going around the internet that Star Wars producer Jon Favreau threatened to leave the entire franchise because Kathleen Kennedy, CEO of Lucasfilm, was interfering and meddling too much in his work. An entire article put out by BoundingIntoComics.com reads that Kennedy and her associates allegedly interfered with Favreau's plans for The Mandalorian and its spin-offs on a number of occasions. The rumors also claim that Kennedy allegedly interfered by ordering the Gina Carano and altering the script for the Book of Boba Fett so that Grogu reunites with Din Djarin, despite Din Djarin handing Grogu over to Luke Skywalker at the conclusion of The Mandalorian Season 2. As a result, Favreau was so disgusted he said, "F it, let them do whatever the hell they want. I'm going to go off and work on Ahsoka in peace." Also, according to the rumors, Disney CEO Bob Chapek asked what he can do to make Favreau stay. Favreau responded to this inquiry saying, "I get to make Mando Season 3 the way I want to. No outside influences, especially Kathy." These are bizarre claims that have surfaced. Let me know what you think of this in the comments, and may the Force be with you.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely don't have a hard time seeing it, especially because it's like the way I've been looking at it and the way I've been thinking about it is like if they wanted to bring Grogu back, the way to do it should have been with Season 3.
Yeah, the reason they did that was because Kathleen Kennedy didn't believe in the Boba Fett show, and she didn't like what she was seeing. But instead of seeing it through, tired, she was like, "Well, let's put in something that we know works."
Yeah, and I mean,
the characters that we know work.
Obviously, like, there's a lot of cynicism too towards like, oh, they only brought Grogu back because Grogu sells toys, and it's like, well, on one hand, yeah, that's true. There is also a bigger story. Like, I think the original idea probably would have been to have, like, instead of having Favreau come out and be like, oh no, Grogu was with Luke for like 2 years, it probably would have, Season 3 would have taken those 2 years. And then you would have gotten like an older, like, toddler Yoda trained as a Jedi with Din Djarin instead of him showing up and be like, I'm taking my kid. So, but I mean, I whenever rumors with Kathleen Kennedy come about, I try to take them with a grain of salt just because there's a new rumor about how incompetent she is with every Star Wars property. Like, yeah, from Force Awakens on. And I'd be like, but it sounds like if this one was true, I wouldn't have a hard time believing it. Like, I wouldn't have a hard time seeing it at all, especially because, like, she's had some pretty big missteps in the past. I don't think it's right to just outright blame her for everything every time something happens. But, I mean, Favreau would have been 100% in his right to be like, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Right. And as we both know, true creative force behind.
Except the animated shows. As much as I love Filoni, I have conceded that point to you, yes. Except for the animated shows.
Use your anger.
You don't fuck with the Bad Batch. Are you up to date on Bad Batch?
Yes, it's
lit. God.
It is
dude,
lit.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel weird. I just feel weird because I know people involved in the show.
Yeah.
And I can't really say much more, but I do.
Yeah.
What I love about the show is that it never goes where you think it's going to go.
No.
And, especially when, like, when Bo-Katan says to Boba Fett, what does she say to him when she's, like, menacing him?
Oh, when she, like,
I've heard your voice about 1,000 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, mine might be the last voice you hear. It's so weird when I, like, see those clips. It's like Bradley D. Baker, dude.
Yeah, he's crushing it.
I don't know if any voice actor's given this many good performances in one show. I don't think it's ever gonna. I don't know if anybody's ever been showcased like this before.
It's essentially a one-man show.
It is. That's what I'm saying. I'll go 10 minutes into an episode and I go, I don't think I've heard another person speak the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just been him doing different variations of variations.
It's the same voice.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I thought this season started a little slow, but, like, the whole Crosshair and Mayday episode, that was
Yeah.
probably my favorite episode of this series so far. That was so good.
Yeah. Well, I got to go back and watch Rebels. I've been seeing a lot of clips of when Obi-Wan kills Maul.
Yeah.
And-
that's one of the videos I had pulled up for today too.
And when he cuts the saber, he cuts his body.
Mm-mm.
I don't think he does. I think he just breaks. Spirit's broken because he knows he's not going to win.
No, I mean, like, he does, but that show used to be on Disney XD, so they're not going to show you the wound. Because, like, that was the definitive, like, okay, Maul is actually dead now.
Right.
Have you seen Sam Witwer, the guy that does the voice of Maul, his breakdown of that fight? That's, yeah. How he goes from, like, the young Obi-Wan Qui-Gon stance to trick Maul and then use it. Like, the cool implication there being that Obi-Wan's had, like, 30 years to think about where Qui-Gon went wrong there.
Right.
The same way, like, he beats Anakin with the same move, or he beats Anakin with the move that Maul should have used to beat him back on Naboo. Because he jumps and flips over Maul and then cuts Maul in half. He'd been spending the last 20 years thinking of the defense that Maul could have used to kill him doing that. That's how he beats Anakin. So it's like he kills Maul with the move Qui-Gon should have used to kill Maul, because he's had 30 or 40 years at this point to think about how to counter that move.
Yeah. Like a boxer watching tape or something.
Yeah. Like, I love that George Lucas quote where he's like, "It's poetry, it rhymes." That kind of shit.
All right. With that one, me to just a perfect.
I was interested in doing a film that could affect studied mythology and everything, and I decided I'm going to make a modern myth, and which teaches, again, the basics of what you have in a society. Because mythology is there to glue a society together. Gives you common ideas about who you are, about what your society is, what you believe in, what your God is, what your values are, and it's based on the psychological motif. I disliked the business of Hollywood intensely. When I had that choice of Star Wars being a success, I said, I'm going to try to make a go for it. And so I invested in the next movie and borrowed money from a bank and everything. I had everything at stake. I did it primarily because I didn't want the studios to tell me what to do. I didn't want them coming and commenting on my work and putting their little ideas in there. And because I needed to make sure I controlled the vision and not have it be diluted by a lot of other people, the company was successful, and movies were successful. I was interested in doing a film that could affect a kid.
There's one George Lucas. There's another one I want to show you.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Do you think because Disney is involved?
I mean, sure, yeah. Yeah.
Is truly like they are worse off.
I don't think it's worse off, because, like, I mean, like, the sequel trilogy was shit, but it's also like, under Disney we got Rogue One, and under Disney we got Mando and Andor and the final season of Clone Wars and Bad Batch, and now we're getting Ahsoka. So it's like they've done good shit. I just think
they needed to get a Bad Batch. Wait! I gotta wait! Hold on!
All right, I'll give you another one.
They needed to get a Bad Batch out.
Ah! That's what this show's been missing from the start, is a rip.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, she's and days and thems, all non-binary people as well. Good night. What if I do that every time?
Can you please? That made me so happy.
Okay, hold on. There's another one. Is it Obi-Wan? Oh, yeah. Here you go.
Story that came out of New Hope. At this point in the story, Obi-Wan Kenobi counseled Luke on how to become a Jedi and the nature of the Force, and to really learn about the Force. Because of the situation in New Hope, I decided that for Obi-Wan Kenobi to do in the last part of the picture, and I felt kill him off, and that I would then figure out what to do and got there. So here I was in the next movie, in this part of the section where Luke learns to use the Force from a Jedi who was supposed to be Obi-Wan, and I killed him off, so I couldn't do that anymore. So this new Jedi, Yoda. The thing about Dagobah was
So that's the story.
Would have been very different, obviously.
I mean, can you imagine being Alec Guinness and being told, we're going to kill you off now. You won't have a job anymore. And then in the next movie, the whole thing that I pitched you on to do 3 movies, that next movie, you're going to be a puppet. And it's not going to be you. We're going to get Miss Piggy to do it.
Literally, Miss Piggy. I mean,
imagine being Alec Guinness. He must have been so pissed.
He like very famously hated those movies in the first place anyway.
That might have been the real reason, and they're like not publicly saying it. Like maybe he was just a poke.
Yeah.
He was a
It
chuck.
was like have you ever heard of like
confession?
that
His biggest regret.
His biggest regret of his career was, quote, those goddamn space movies. Like he hated those movies.
Hands, you know.
Oh sure, yeah. There's plenty to.
He was ahead of his time. In that regard, he was ahead of his time.
He hated Star Wars fans before it was cool to hate Star Wars fans.
Yes, he did. We've been Adam gagging in our. Well, thanks so much for getting to it. All right.
It's a good bit. I like this bit. I keep it rolling.
All right. I love this.
The best
Yeah,
scene
I see
in the world.
this
You don't remember me? 926, Induct Camp, Batch 8. Yeah, I remember you.
926. Please don't do this.
I know I'm not supposed to initiate contact with officers, but I never took you for captain material. Look at you, Captain. Batch 8, I hope.
Everyone's heart would have sank here, and it goes back to Finn's past, training for the First Order. The scene they originally had felt too short, where you don't risk of them going onto Snoke's ship, but this scene shows that perfectly.
Yeah, man. I agree with that.
Yeah, me too. That's one of like the big
Last things
that they
drop the ball on with Finn is like,
there's such a stronger character there in the stormtrooper that defects to the rebellion than what they had him do, because he did fuck all in those movies.
Right.
They set him up for so much in the first one that they just dropped.
Right. Hold on. Yeah. Your connection might be a little choppy.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah. Are you connected to Wi-Fi or are you on your phone?
5G.
Let me take some stuff off Wi-Fi, see if that helps.
All right.
I would try changing my network, but I don't want to disconnect entirely.
Copy that.
Is that better?
Yeah, we'll see. Give me a shout.
She in the chat?
I think she's watching. She's the one who texted me.
Oh, all right.
All right. Next video. Next video. Give me with the next bit. All right. Is this?
Yes. I'm stoked on this one.
We would be honored if you would join us.
There's a lot of different theories on who the armorer could be, and while I have a few, I would like to of them in today's video regarding Rook Cast. Now, Rook Cast is a Mandalorian commando, and in today's video, I want to examine the similarities between these two characters, the potential connections between their stories, and the possible implications of on the universe of the Mandalorian as a whole. Now, while we don't know who the armorer is, what caught my attention in episode 3 was when the armorer knew exactly who Bo-Katan was in her helmet and armor when she walked in. Now, Bo-Katan is pretty famous. She was a princess of Mandalore, so no introduction is really needed, I guess. But then how does that explain Paz just thinking that she's a regular night owl? But besides that, her horns on her helmet have a big giveaway. No other Mandalorian has this. Why does she have those? The only other Mandos to have worn those horns were the ones loyal to Darth Maul. Now, of course, their horns are much bigger and more dramatic, but could this be a sly little way that she trying to show her loyalty to her former leader, or perhaps current, in her head? This tells me that perhaps the person who knows who Bo is could be Rook Cast. Now, the armor and Rook Cast share several similarities, such as their Mandalorian heritage, combat, and leadership qualities. Rook Cast served as a commando under the Mandalorian splinter group known as Death Watch, led by Pre Vizsla and later Darth Maul. After Maul's defeat and the disbanding of Death Watch, Rook Cast's whereabouts became
Okay.
Yeah. I subscribe to this theory in a big way. I mean, he goes on to talk a lot about it, but I mean, more than just the horns on the helmet. I like the idea of like the other side to this theory, other than, you know, his idea of she's still loyal to Maul in some way, is that she's formed Children of the Watch as a way of atoning for what Death Watch and Maul did to Mandalore. Because Death Watch and Maul are what leave Mandalore in the vulnerable position that the Empire could destroy Mandalore. He leaves the clans so fractured and so splintered that it allows the Empire to come in and wipe them all out. The cooler thing is, like, if that ends up being her, there's a ton of beef between her and Bo-Katan.
But why wouldn't Bo-Katan know it's her?
It could honestly, because like it could honestly be something as stupid and simple as a change in the armor.
Right. Because
like she's just not picking up the voice.
Right.
became unknown.
I think Vizsla being there is also kind of a good indicator, because Clan Vizsla sided with Maul and Death Watch.
Right. So they could, if not actually part of Death Watch, like descendants from the Death Watch.
Well, yeah, that's why they're Children of the Watch, because they're the descendants of Death Watch.
I see. Okay.
The armor and Rook Cast, I feel, share some shared experiences, common goals, and the desire to preserve Mandalorian culture and traditions. Both were quite extremists, so it makes sense. And even more so. Now, we saw Rook Cast originally for the first time. Maul, son of Dathomir. This is a 4-issue comic series that follows the story of Darth Maul after his capture by Darth Sidious during the events of Clone Wars Season 5, or just after it. Now, in the comic, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. Rook Cast plays the essential role
Advertised to
as a loyal Mandalorian member of the Death Watch faction, which is part of Maul's Shadow Collective. The comic starts imprisoned by Darth Sidious. Rook Cast, along with fellow Mandalorian, executes a daring rescue mission to free Maul from his separatist captors. As part of this mission, Rook Cast employs her combat skills and Mandalorian jetpack to infiltrate the prison and successfully extract Maul. Now, throughout the whole comic series, which is a great read, Rook Cast serves as a loyal and capable warrior in Maul's Shadow Collective. We also saw this when the armorer kicked the crap out of those stormtroopers in Season 1, using just a hammer. She fought in many different battles and missions against separatists, Republic, and Sith, proving her full dedication to Maul. She also played a very big role in the defense of the Shadow Collective base on Zanbar, which comes under the attack by General Grievous forces. Cast fights alongside Maul and other Mandalorians against these invaders. Then she was involved in the Battle of Ord Mantell, where Maul's forces clash with separatist armies led by Count Dooku. During the battle, Rook Kast assists in the capture of Dooku, bringing him to Maul as a prisoner. Towards the end of the comic series, Rook Kast and her fellow Mandalorians find themselves facing overwhelming odds as they battle the combined forces of the Sith, the Jedi, and the Republic. In a desperate bid to save Maul from capture, Rook Kast distracts the enemy forces, allowing Maul to escape and regroup with the remaining forces of the Shadow Collective. Now, in Clone Wars Season 7, Rook Kast led the onslaught against the clones and Ahsoka at Maul's orders on Mandalore. She was responsible for doing all of Maul's alongside Gar Saxon, and essentially turned on many of her people to be Maul, who wasn't really having Mandalore's best interests in mind, rather just his own. In the end, as we saw in Season 7, Ahsoka fought Maul, and Bo-Katan arrived with Night Owls and Mandos to fight the opposing forces, and Bo-Katan and Rook Kast got into a fist fight, in which of course Bo-Katan won, beating Rook. Now, Rook Kast did show her face in Clone Wars at the end, so my theory is that she adopted this new way to keep herself hidden. She forces the law of keeping one's helmet on forever as a way of hiding her true identity. She is a literal traitor to her people in their eyes, in the eyes of many Mandalorians who fought against her and Maul, including Bo-Katan when Pre Vizsla died in trial by combat. It's not out of the ordinary to think that Rook Kast, who was already quite an extremist, would go on to be even more radical with her way. Death Watch was a faction of Mandalorians who believed in the old ways of violence and extremism for Mandalorians. Seeing Mandalore become as destroyed as it did could have made her go off the deep end, maybe even more so than she already was, and become the Armorer, keeping her horns on her helmet as loyalty and Maul, whom she was very obedient to. Do you think these horns are paying homage to Maul, or do you think it's part of her alien head? Do you think those horns need to be there and perhaps she's just another species? I think there must be some significance to the character, but if she's a new character, then that's pretty cool too, as it just makes the world that much bigger. Let me know your theory about the Armorer being Rook Kast, or who you think the Armorer could actually be. A new character or someone with great significance. Thanks for watching today's theory video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll have a few other theory videos on who the are.
Great. Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's Rook. That video, like,
Yeah.
I want it to be at least. That'd be chill.
Especially, like, I hadn't really caught this before watching this again. Her chest plate is crimson.
Right.
I mean, I think that'd be cool, just because then you've got this person that's like taking Bo-Katan in, that Bo-Katan's like starting to warm to, and then have her be the one to discover that this person that like all of the Mandalorians are clinging to more than her is someone that severely fucked them in the Clone Wars.
Right.
I think that's all stuff that's gonna lead to you know, rather Bo-Katan or Grogu.
Yeah, that's before.
Mm-hmm.
The good old will Bo-Katan break bad in order to get the Darksaber, and will that leave it so Grogu wields it, and Grogu is the Mandalorian. The question being, who is the real Mandalorian?
Did you know Pedro Pascal is almost never the Mandalorian? The actors under the helmet are actually
Nice
Brendan
segue.
Wayne and Lachlan, who are both responsible for playing the character throughout the whole series. So every time Mando's on screen, that's actually not Pedro Pascal. Brandon Wayne also took a lot of inspiration for his performance from his grandfather, who just so happens to be the legendary John Wayne.
Come on. The swagger that Mando has, the weapon, is the grandson of John Wayne? What the fuck?
Did you know that? Follow me for more. Did you know Pedro Pascal is almost never the
This one is, I think, the best Star Wars trivia short. I don't remember when it came out, but when it came out, I was like, I gotta save it. It's so quick, the edit is tight, and also, like, it's pertinent information. John Wayne's grandson
is kind of the real Mandalorian, kind of the real Din Djarin.
That's pretty tight.
Yeah,
it's a questionable person, especially with his views towards the native peoples of America. But also undeniable that he is a Western icon. and this is sort of like the truest popular Western today, I think.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, since the whole idea for it originally was like lone gunslinger Mandalorian.
Right.
And they're like, who do we get? I don't know. John Wayne had a couple kids. Are they doing anything?
Marion.
Yeah.
Oh, Uma. She hears the dog outside. Uma, no.
I just figured she was excited about Lando.
Why would Star Wars think it's right to
Cheese for Goku, Pagrido, Inagua Cocrest for Krita.
having Baby Greedo in the Phantom moment amazing? Knowing what happened in New Hope?
Yes, I bet you have.
Would have made this reference legendary. Why would Star Wars think it's right to cut out this moment?
Cheese for Goku, Pagrido, Inagua Cocreta.
It's the little run that does it for me.
It's very sad. Uma's going crazy.
I can hear her, yeah.
I'm going to put on another.
I believe Luke would turn to the dark side in Return of the Jedi. I believe that was on the table. I believe he would kill the Emperor. And because of the way George arranged the story, I knew that was the wrong thing to do. And the only thing that's going to save him is not his connection to the Force. It's not the powers he's learned. It's not all these things that are an advantage to him. That's gotten him to the table. But what saves Luke is his ability to look at all that and look at his father and say, no, I'm going to throw away this weapon. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let that go and be selfless. And Anakin then in that moment has to decide to be the father that he's never had. He has to give up all the power in the galaxy and save his son. And that's a selfless act that he does in return for his son. And that's what saves him in terms of the son said the father says his son. And it works out perfectly. And I draw that line all the way from Phantom Menace to Jedi. That's the story of Star Wars. I believe Luke would turn to the dark side.
What do you think?
I mean, I could listen to that dude talk about lore shit for days.
You know,
because he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
You like him more than Chef? Chef is he can mold new stories.
Yeah, but I want Filoni's job. I want to just professionally know Star Wars shit.
Fair.
I want someone to give me an ass load of money to be like, no, Luke wouldn't say that. Fuck you. Like,
yeah, man.
Luke's not throwing away the lightsaber. Try again.
There's none of this without Filoni, huh? Nothing without him.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
we need him.
The current state of things
probably wouldn't be where it is without, because like he's.
Well, we got two people watching right now. We should see what do you guys think? Put it in the chat. Filoni or Favreau?
I mean, I don't think
Favreau.
I don't think it's an or.
Filoni. Just indulge me.
Okay.
Just indulge me.
No wig. Can you give me a Potter?
Just wait till my father hears about this Potter. Until my father hears about this Potter.
Potter. Has to like build in you.
Brad said. Brad said, and he doesn't want to choose either.
Yeah, it's an and, especially because like you need the creative in Favreau, but you need the guy that studied under George Lucas and Filoni. That's in my opinion. That's why the TV shows work better than the movies did, because the movies had no cohesion to them like that. Whereas like Filoni when they were doing the Clone Wars animated movie, spent months at the Lucas Ranch just like downloading everything out of George's brain.
Okay.
It's like he's the closest we're gonna get to Lucas making new shit because he knows what Lucas would have done.
What I want to know is who talks to Filoni? Is Kathleen Kennedy arguing with Dave Filoni?
I hope so, because he can tell her what's up.
Okay. Well, Brad's the only one who voted, and it's And. So I guess
the Ands haven't.
Wasn't an option.
Brad made it an option. Thanks, Brad.
How about a Liam Neeson clip, huh?
Okay.
What do you think this clip is going to be?
I'm hoping it's that meme we did where he's like, "No, I've been here on Tatooine gambling."
No.
Liam Neeson just recently shared in an interview his opinions as to why Star Wars is currently being ruined. Here,
Liam, I have to know, reprised your role as Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, that would happen. And are you...
I'm sorry, did you see what he just did?
...interested in doing your own spin-off on Disney Plus?
Oh, I'm not. There's so many spin-offs of Star Wars. It's diluting it to me, and it's taken away the mystery and the magic in a weird way, you know. It was nice to do the little bit with Ewan after 25 years, 24 years, you know. Did a TV version. I appeared in the last episode. I had 2 lines to say.
2 lines.
And that was cool. I loved it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Liam, I love how outspoken you are. You really do not give a
Liam Neeson just recently shared in an interview his opinions as to why Star Wars is currently being ruined.
Liam, I have to know, when you reprised your role as Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, did you ever think that would happen? And are you interested?
That's so good, dude.
It's like Irish Harrison Ford status right there. It's, they're gonna talk about this shite again.
Yeah, I did 3 lines.
I did 3 lines. I didn't care. It's too much Star Wars.
Well,
always after me Lucky Charms.
Yeah!
I laugh hard.
Oh my god. Well, that's it for us for Weekend at CHEWIE'S.
Oh, shit.
Thanks for tuning into another live stream. What a fun one. We did video this time, but we send memes out. We do theater. We're all on Instagram. So follow in the description. Thanks for tuning in, Brad. And